So much going on around here locally to talk about that we have gone 4 days into this talking locally about sports, and Chase Claypool hasn't come up. Like, the Dolphins got a receiver. Nobody thought they needed a receiver. Maybe you don't think they did get a receiver because Claypool has been so bad and such a bust, but we haven't even talked about it because some things have flogged against the show this week. It is rare that everyone just gets to laugh at the University of Miami. You heard some tense days with Mike Ryan, and yesterday he just took a mental health break to get away and just move on to North Carolina. But I noticed when I came in today, and I thought that this had been scheduled on purpose. We allow people whatever vacation time they want. I thought Jessica, I had not considered this. I thought that Jessica had taken 3 days off because of the way Notre Dame lost to Louisville, that she was avoiding everything here. I had forgotten that the Miami game happened after that. So like a phoenix rising from ashes, your Notre Dame suffering, Jessica, was about 5 minutes before you got to laugh at Miami, correct? Before you knew you could come. You've wanted to be in here, and you're not sure that Mike didn't tinker with the schedule to not have you in here.
I'm positive Mike tinkered with the schedule because, Dan, we get our schedule every weekend for the upcoming week. And every single Monday, I'm in the studio. Like, that is the one day that I always know that I'm going to be here. And this Sunday, I looked at the schedule, and my name was not on it on Monday. And then I looked at the schedule again, and my name wasn't on it until Thursday. And then I thought, who benefits from me not being here after a college football weekend until Thursday?
Did you tell anybody this?
Mike, I told Lucy, and guess what? Lucy also wasn't on the schedule on Monday to laugh at the Miami
So
Hurricanes.
you think Mike Ryan, known freedom fighter, is corrupting the system? No, he wants on behalf of creativity.
Known freedom fighter.
Mike Ryan on behalf of.
It is one of those things that is known about me.
Yes, Dan, he's censoring us. Me specifically, because Lucy at least got to be here yesterday. But I am being censored. I have not been on the schedule all week because of the way the Miami Hurricanes lost to Georgia Tech in embarrassing fashion Saturday night, making my depressing, sad little evening an evening full of mirth and laughter and joy.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. This is she has tapped into something here that I really had not considered. And now I've missed that she wasn't here for 3 days for whatever the reasons, because I did not realize after talking all of last week, one of the best things is your friend's pain in sports. When his or her team loses and it's funny, it is something that can buoy you and be one of the best things about sports, to hate your friend's team and to laugh at your friend's team. I had not realized that Notre Dame, Catholic at her core, that you would be broken Saturday night and then would wake up your boyfriend so excited. Wake up your boyfriend because Miami cured everything that ailed you.
It was literally the meme of like, babe, wake up. Mario Cristobal just handed the ball off with less than 35 seconds on the clock and fumbled, and Georgia Tech got the ball back, and they scored a 44-yard passing touchdown, and they won the game. And Lehman was like, please let me go to sleep.
Lucy, the reason I'm laughing is because Lucy's got a giant smile on her face, and I totally regret. I think it's Meadowlark's biggest error so far as a company that Lucy and Jessica didn't immediately live stream wherever it is that we had broadcasts to laugh at Miami. Mike wants to move on to North Carolina, and Lucy hasn't even gotten. Lucy, you haven't gotten to laugh at Miami the way you wanted to.
No, Jess and I literally met up Monday and laughed about Miami together because I was like, this is not a time to be alone. This is a time to celebrate with the people you care about.
Did you guys do something for other companies? Did you broadcast? Did you do show about laughing at Miami as a guest on other shows?
We went to the mall.
We went to the mall and we went to lunch and we read all of Mike Ryan's tweets out loud to each other.
No.
I shouldn't even be revealing this. I'm afraid for my job right now. I'm afraid that I may get fired for revealing that. Lucy had nothing to do with this, by the way. I will take the fall. And then Lucy came on Golic and Smetty, and we did like a 30-minute college football segment in which we talked about Miami for like 29 of the minutes.
That's wrong. Golic and Smetty got the good stuff because Jessica was vacationed off the schedule against her will. against her will. She wanted to be here Monday because she knew she wasn't going to catch much Notre Dame shrapnel.
I would be here every day, Dan. I hate going on vacation, but I was not on the schedule because I am being censored.
Lucy, you felt the same way when you guys are talking and reading Mike's text. Did you have a favorite?
Oh, God, that's tough. I don't subscribe to his tweets, so I couldn't see all of them. Wow. I don't know if I had a favorite. It's tough to see all of them. You have to pay for it, and I'm not going to do that.
Wow. Mike, how is that going for you? The Twitter information business.
Today? How's today going?
No, not just the
We're off to an amazing start.
I'm actually like really afraid.
I mean, if I had any influence, Billy would definitely not have been in on Monday.
Why?
After that,
I was here for you.
You were actually the most supportive.
You were
Thank
grinning
you.
in the back row.
It took you a day.
Yeah.
Mike's first 2 days of
It was
the
really
week.
Don Chaney Jr., if I'm going to be honest. I felt so bad for him, and I was trying to justify anything for that. Yeah.
Belen connection.
Yeah.
You were uncomfortable on Monday and Tuesday, and you got a day of relief from it Wednesday, and now you have moved on to North Carolina and came in here today feeling like you might not win. Your positivity.
It's a tough game. North Carolina is very good. And because of what happened last week in which they snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory, it's a huge game for how this season goes now. It was always going to be an important one. Looking at the season, I think you can make the argument that Texas A&M, in terms of vibes and culture building and mile markers along the path to getting back to where you want to, was going to be the most important one. But after the unexpected disaster of last Saturday, this game, when you look at the schedule coming up with North Carolina undefeated, Clemson at home appearing to right the ship somewhat, Florida State in early November, you kind of need to get this one now. And that's hard. That's a really good North Carolina team. They're in contention for a college football playoff spot.
What Mac Brown has done in North Carolina, feeding off some previous successes, he has brought big offense there. Like they are.
He has, and he's brought a team that has regularly beaten Miami's ass. These games have actually been pretty good outside of the time that Javonte Williams and Michael Carter totally embarrassed Miami. There was a shot at the Orange Bowl on the line, and Miami gave up two 200-yard rushing games to two separate running backs that are both in the pros
North
right now.
Carolina over the last decade has been a better program than Miami.
Yeah, I'd say quite easily. And this game is always one of my favorite games on the calendar because there have been two things that have been born out of this this move to the ACC that has not worked out for Miami. But in terms of things that have worked out, the basketball programs have really benefited from the move. And also, this sneaky rivalry between Miami and North Carolina became a really good one, a passionate one.
They've given you a lot of upside down U's.
They have
in your face.
I think you can credit them.
North Carolina,
they
invented the upside down U. And North Carolina, you get mad. That makes you mad. The upside down U.
I think we can credit North Carolina for inventing the upside down U.
Is that something you credit someone for? That's like crediting someone for inventing cancer.
Yeah, in terms of in my eyes,
that's very strong.
Well, Mike agrees.
Not strong enough, I'd argue. But if you look at the history of the rivalry, briefly,
invented cancer.
Connor Barth, the game winner.
I'm on it.
Late November, Miami was number 5 in the nation. They had a shot at a national championship game. Connor Barth eliminates them. There was a big Dallas Crawford game in which a converted safety runs all over North Carolina. North Carolina actually had an opportunity to win that game, but they decided against running out the clock. It's weird. I never knew that happened before Saturday. And you have, even last year's game is the only really good Tyler Van Dyke performance. That went down to the wire. So I like this game. It's my first time attending it in North Carolina. I'm excited about that, but there's a lot of bad vibes, and everybody that's around the program that's not in the program is kind of worried about how Miami will respond, because this could be one of those, that Georgia Tech game could be one of those that you point to and say, well, everyone just lost faith in what they were trying to build.
I'm worried too. I'm worried that I don't know what days I'm supposed to be at work if Miami continues to lose. And by the way, we do a lot of bits on this show, and a lot of the stuff that,
we do?
Surprise. This is not a bit. I was being censored on Monday, and so was Lucy.
Yeah. Well,
and
we've got
I have
a problem.
yet to get to the bottom of
well,
this.
We're going to try to here. Mike keeps deflecting and wants to talk about this team because he cares about it. And this week hurt, man. Like
we still haven't gone past it.
He put Billy on the schedule so that he could deny censoring me and Lucy by having someone who could be an ally in
I am
in
a
all
noted
things Miami.
UM ally.
Well, Billy
Mike is a noted freedom fighter.
Well,
and I'm Catholic to my core.
Prior to today, I had no influence over the talent schedule. prior to today.
Lucy, do you have back there any of the tweets that you were reading from Mike Ryan after the University of Miami game?
Oh, come on, man. Like, get over it. For real? Like, are we still doing this? Wow. It's Thursday. I thought we refreshed the palate. We cleansed it, and now we're on to North Carolina.
Yeah. If you let us come in on Monday, it would have been out of our system because I agree. Like, this happened 4 days. There's so much that's happened in the sports world, in the college football world since Monday. But you waited, and now this is the first opportunity I've had on this show to laugh at what happened to Miami.
Cool. I'm not laughing at at Notre Dame or anybody else.
You can. We
I don't
stink.
want to.
We're 5-2.
I don't like it.
We're losers. And I hate us.
I don't like
but
it.
nothing you can say can hurt me as much as I can hurt me.
Golden rule.
That's the difference between you and I.
I live by the golden rule. I don't like trolling other people. Let's get to the FIU video that
we will in a second. Lucy.
Hold on a second.
Lucy,
Wait.
That's what FIU had a disaster.
Lots of things are being said this
Can we
hour.
go back a second?
Yes,
you
let's
can
go
just
back.
say anything on this show.
Let's go
Seems
back
that
a
way.
second. What just happened there? Now Mike is delighted with himself. You can't just do that. You can't just do that. Lucy, what are the tweets saying? What are Mike Ryan's tweets saying? And please describe the scene to me, Lucy. It's actually at the mall, and you guys.
Which mall? Which mall? So we know kind of what the vibe was.
What's the name of the mall? Lincoln
Road. Okay.
We were
All right,
at the mall.
So you're
I had
out.
to hit up
but
the
it's-
Nespresso
It's
store.
outdoors. It's an outdoors. You guys are at a cafe or something, and you're sitting down.
So we were walking. Lee was taking care of all of the shopping stuff that he needed to worry about. Jess and I were back, and we were reading the tweets. It was a cloudy day, but the weather was nice. Everything felt really good about the moment. So
more, please. Like, give me what's happening around. Have you been to this strip of
I
land?
have not, and so it was my first time.
She's showing
there.
you some of
Yeah.
Miami,
but I didn't care about that. I wasn't there to see Miami. I was there to talk about Miami.
This is way more than a pound of flesh.
Yeah.
We also went to Sunset Harbor. We got a nice little chicken
so you guys
bowl.
are having a lovely. This is a
was a
lovely.
great
This is a
day.
lovely bonding college
was
football
cute.
day where you guys are getting together over Mike's misery and you're reading his tweets to each other.
Yes. And this is the best part about Lucy and I's friendship is like we're on the same page with a lot of things. So I invited her to come over and like hang out after, and she's like, I'm gonna go take a nap. And I was like, awesome, because then I went and took a nap. So we both just had a nice little lunch and then we took naps. How cute is that?
It's really cute. We're the best.
Did we just become
This
best
is,
friends?
This
Like,
is a
that's-
torturous experience for me. Like, can we get
You're bringing them together, Mike.
Laughing at you
want me to
unite.
enjoy Miami and make friends. I've made a friend.
Laughing
puck
at
drops
Miami.
tonight? Puck drop.
We'll get to that. But
Panthers
Roy's
are
over there.
wild.
No, look, disrespected Panthers is over in the corner. He's chomping to get in. We'll get here.
Hi.
We'll get to you in a second, Roy.
There was a preseason game across the street that Jeremy said had a playoff like atmosphere. There's a lot to talk about.
Understood. Read one of the tweets that you enjoyed as you paint more of this picture, please, Lucy.
I like this one because it's simple. This game's been rigged.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I stand by that. Yeah. Although Al Riveron came out and defended the decision. Al Riveron came out from his cave.
You stand by that?
Yeah, that game was rigged. That game was rigged.
Okay, so that's your starting point.
Oh, I'm not going to bore you with like the 15 calls that decided that game. But
No,
I'm not gonna do
I
that.
can level with Mike on the fact that ACC officiating is horrendous, and across the board, like college football officiating is generally pretty bad. Like there's memes about the Pac-12 refs, but the ACC refs sometimes they fly under the radar, making some pretty bad calls.
Yeah, they've made my week a personal hell. If they get the call right, I don't really experience this week.
Do you guys think I have this part of it wrong? Once you get to the big business of professional football that this is, don't your referees have to be best of the best because of the amount of money that are involved? And the game is getting harder to officiate, and if they're not good at it and it's a plague, it's like, oh, maybe the officials aren't good enough because those need to be good paying jobs with strong unions because they're now governing a multi-billion-dollar industry.
I will say they did do the right thing in not calling the Georgia Tech receiver down. Letter of the law, Kenny Pickett rule. They did do the right thing. That would have been a bullshit way to survive that game if the receiver was actually ruled down properly, that he slid at the one, because he did. But this whole thing is horseshit. The Al Riveron's quote saying, well, there wasn't evidence to overturn the call on the field. The call on the field was horseshit. We all saw the replay. in my very fancy, luxurious Golden Canes box. I have monitors. I saw the replay that they saw. It was clear as fucking day that he didn't fumble.
Well, this is why your wrath is a problem around here, and the scheduling mania that you bump these people off the schedule with. They've got a legitimate complaint.
I don't bump anybody off the schedule, but I'm going to begin doing so.
More tweets, please. More tweets.
What are we learning here? Are we learning that it's better to censor them? Because it seems like this is worse for you. If you just have them there on Monday, it's like it's ripping off the Band-Aid right away.
Okay,
yeah.
We're doing this thing on the local hour where we're not taking breaks, and you're affecting my mental. I'm going to get up and get water. You guys have your fun.
Oh, come on.
Right, that's fine.
No,
What's going on?
It's been 25
Do you wanna
consecutive
sip with my
minutes
water?
of browbeating.
No?
And I've done a lot. I've given you more than a pound of flesh, and I'm just going to get a water, walk it off, and hopefully by then we've changed topics like wild Panthers.
Okay, we will see because Roy is ready. Roy is
Wild Panthers.
Roy wants to talk.
Oh,
the
the teams.
Panthers have been disrespected, but I think your punishment can't be self-inflicted. I think you need to go out because your mental health about the University of Miami affects our fun.
He's gone, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk.
He left already,
I'll talk
Dan.
as if he's
Kept
not
the
here.
Left the
then.
door open.
I'll talk as if he's not here.
Tony's here if you want him to come in.
The fact that Tony can sit in that seat, sure. Thank you, Billy. We'll see what the show becomes with you undermining him all show in that seat. I'm sure that will go well. We'll get to Billy's FIU broadcasting, not debut, but now he's a star. He's now a star. He was a star last night, prowling the old grounds. We'll get to that in a second. But, Jessica, the fact that Mike Ryan's allegiance to the University of Miami, while noble, legitimately, he loves that school, but it's infected this program with his boosterism so much that you don't feel comfortable enough to be free, even though he's a known freedom fighter, free enough to read his tweets because you guys having lunch laughing at his tweets is hysterical. But there's not the safety around here to do it without fearing pissing him off and the emotional parts of him, the UM fan, that are the worst parts of the UM fan base.
No, I think the tweets. I think we took it too far, Lucy. Yeah. I think that A, I fear for my job now. B, I fear for Lucy's job. And C, I'm never going to be in on a Monday ever again.
Well, I fear for all of us. Because Mike, in a lot of ways, Mike has already checked out around here. He's gone Hollywood. Like he's having so many meetings with McKay and Schur about doing big Hollywood moves and stuff that he is like he's fed up with how small this little job has become that burdens him when he comes in on Monday and Tuesday and we make fun of his team and it hurts and he doesn't think it's good content.
You know what? I think Mike's right. I think there's something to Mike that we don't see. There's more that meets the eye than Mike. You know, like we need to see deeper into the person who Mike is.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you're doing.
What do you mean?
All right, go sit in the penalty box. That job is hard to do. I need it done better than that. If you're going to sit in that seat, you got to
with a scope, like put a microphone or like a camera, like
yeah, like
into
see
his throat?
who Mike is really as a person. We're just too surface level on Mike. We got to go deeper.
What is he talking about?
Go sit in the penalty box for 2 minutes. I don't know what you did in that seat. You immediately get in the seat and you show how valuable he is by just shitting yourself.
See,
at least he tried.
Good teammate Billy, huh?
Well, no,
bringing in an incompetent to make Mike look better.
All right, fine, Billy. Fine, we'll get to your thing. Let's talk about your big star
Mike's
thing.
back.
No. Mike is punished. He doesn't want to talk
He's
about
got his water.
You look lighter after losing that pound of flesh.
Thank you.
Billy,
Hey.
Can you tell me how last night went? Because I felt very bad for Taylor when I came in today. And evidently Taylor, who shouldn't be betting large sums of money, bet a large sum of money on the joy of the experience of I'm doing FIU with Billy. Surely they'll win. It'll be a home game and I'll make lots of money. And then you're down to UTEP's fourth string quarterback in the first quarter, 21-0.
Yeah, so we found out about Taylor's bet early yesterday morning. He came in and he told us exactly what he put down on the game.
Dumb person.
Everyone reacted the exact same way.
The behavior of a dumb person.
Everyone just audibly groaned when they heard what he had on the game. We're like, Taylor, that's not.
I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know what it is. I know that Taylor is hustling, trying to make his way in the company. He was with you last night, chasing you around, getting video. He's working very hard, supporting your shit.
Well, shit.
And he goes down there, and he is immediately down. How much money did that cost him? I don't want to know the number of the.
Well, how do I answer how much it cost him if you don't want to know the number?
What I'm saying is he was at work yesterday, and working for you cost him money.
Well, working for the company. I would also say Taylor is a very hard worker, and he did a great job because he was also kind of, I think, more egging me on than anything, which is kind of what I need in those situations. Is I need to be prodded to go up and do things. Yeah, because like if it was up to me, I'd just kind of be standing there watching what's going on. But he's the one that's telling me go up and start talking to players. Go
be your personality. Don't slink into a corner.
That's exactly right. Well, because here's the thing: is that I've been scheduled for a return appearance, so I didn't want to blow it on my first shot. So I saw opportunities to maybe just walk around and kind of do whatever I wanted, and I was like, but I don't want to get kicked out before the game even starts. So let me be on my pseudo best behavior.
Can I say honestly, this is going to embarrass both me and you, that seeing the video of you walking around on that field, like broadcasting giant Billy Gill, prowling his sideline, paws up, covering his team like a big shot. Your players are so small, or at least the ones I saw.
I was going to say, some people thought I was a literal giant because of the people I chose to go up to.
I could not believe this happened when I saw Link.
The video that we're about to play, my main takeaway is how much bigger Billy is.
If you notice, the people I had the courage to go up to, the least menacing. Respectfully to them.
It was a special team unit,
Mike,
no doubt.
I really don't think people understand what I'm about to say, which is like at the top levels of college football, like how close those human beings are to being almost physically professional football players. When you go watch FAU, for example, even the Lane Kiffin team that was winning 10 games, you feel like you're watching Pee-wee football. Like Pee-wee, because it doesn't, or like grandiose high school football, because everyone out there is so small. Cristobal helps build FIU into whatever it is. It was a 10-win team at one point.
Yeah, I think first ever conference championship, right? First ever 4-star recruit. Yeah.
So Billy, I was proud seeing you walk. Like you were big man on campus, and it's your campus, and it was nice to see.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, here's some video from yesterday.
Hey, it's Billy. We're here at the Cage for FIU Vice Night. Setting the scene right now. See, these are the Vice uniforms right here. I don't know if you can see this. Right up there. Goodyear blimp made it out. If you turn around here right behind you, there's a Lamborghini on the fields, which I'm told is not standard at most college football games, but this is the first college football game that I'm calling. If you follow me down the field over here, we're also going to run into a Rolls Royce that's on the fields, a pink Rolls Royce. They're the Vice uniforms. Let's see if I can tap up any of the players. They don't know me, but see if I can get any love here. There we go. Backup quarterback. Just business as usual at a college football game. Rolls Royce on the field, Lamborghini on the field, blimps, some minors. The team, not like, you know what I mean. Taylor, how does this compare to UNC games? The crowd? Well, it's early still. It was rainy, too. I was a little worried about the weather, I'm going to be honest.
A late arriving crowd?
Yeah, well, you know, there's things to do here. It's Vice Night. How we feeling tonight, boys?
So small.
You got this one? Yeah? You're going to take home the dub? Yeah? All right. That's what I like to hear. I'm not sold. Not sold. You think I should just blow off calling the game and patrol the sidelines during the game? It's not what I was asked to do, but I feel like maybe I'm, building morale here on this sideline, which is really what I'm looking to do.
Billy, you just did sideline reporting better than it has ever been done.
I would like to note that was about 20 minutes before the game, so that's why it was empty.
Billy, I would so like you to become the sideline reporter who's mumbling under his breath after talking to players that don't convince you that they're actually going to win.
I just call it as I see it, unfortunately. I would have
got
liked
it exactly
to have been
right.
convinced,
They were down 21-0 in the first quarter. You didn't have any reason to have any confidence. Do we have broadcast audio from the night?
Yeah, speaking of calling it.
The left side of the line there, and FIU's getting pushed around a little bit up front right now.
I have a new key to the game if you'd like it.
What do you got? I would.
Plug the holes.
Plug the holes. Mm-hmm. There you go. So we got nose to the grindstone and plug the holes.
Keep the blinders on, too.
Blinders on. Blinders.
And foot to the gas. Keep it on the gas.
Foot to the gas. What we need.
That's for later, though.
That's for later, yeah. Hankins stumbling forward and got through. Manuel made contact at the one, but Hankins able to fall forward. Tough start here defensively for the Panthers.
Hankins is just tough to take down. I mean, he's a grinder, and FIU's going to have to keep their nose to the grindstone to be able to tackle him,
Yes. They did not have their blinders on there.
No.
Didn't plug the hole.
Didn't plug the hole. Got to be better. Will be better.
It's early still, guys.
Very early.
Let's not lose faith here.
PAT from Buzz Flaviano is through the uprights because they put both their hands up.
Yeah.
So that means the field goal.
Buzz is probably not the given name, correct?
That's what they put on the roster.
There's a lane for you here, Billy. No one is taking the muttering, lacking self-confidence broadcaster in my team.
I will say this. Lucy makes it look a lot easier than it is on the videos that she does every weekend. It's not easy, particularly when there's no one around, but it's not easy to do it.
Well, she's an instant joy-creating machine.
I'm not that, is the thing. That's kind of
It's the best description.
the issue.
That's
yeah.
better than Freedom Fighter. Instant joy-making machine.
She lands on a
Make
campus.
that your bio.
Man, Lucy lands on a campus. Everybody wants to be around her. That's the way it feels.
That is so nice. Thank you.
Instant joy-making machine.
Everyone's dancing, eating fried food. Billy gets there, and his confidence leaks onto the players, and they're like, who is this guy?
Oh, you think it was my fault?
Might have been.
Well, staff time here in South Florida. You having a good time?
I've had better.
What are your impressions of your performance here? How are you feeling?
I would say
In a flow state right now?
like a C at best, I would say.
Okay.
Haven't brought my A game. I'm not going to say that this is all because of my performance, but I haven't been bringing it. I'm sorry. I apologize to both of you.
I think FIU could help the cause.
Well, I'm not a... Hey, we is greater than me. Am I right?
He's greater than me.
Billy, a lane for you is just honest broadcaster. Just guy who talks freely, but they weren't very good.
I don't think we have the clip. At one point, AJ was making a comparison of himself to Joe Buck, and I was like, "You're no Joe Buck."
Oh my God! No, right next to him.
Then he called Joe Buck an alcoholic.
What? Not exactly.
He was a joke, but it was really funny. I listened. He did a great job.
Well, because they were saying, he said, Joe Buck from time to time has a beer before the game, and then we just kind of moved on. I'm like, are we calling Joe Buck an alcoholic? What's going on here, AJ?
Oh, Lucy. So this was a cool way. Were you the only one here who heard it live on Spanish radio? Because you would get the unique experience of getting the inside joke of, oh, look, Billy's not going to actually respect the constructs of how they do a football game. He's going to be Billy in the middle of this.
Well, that's why I listened, and it was a great broadcast. I thought Billy did a wonderful job. He was so funny, and when the game was like 21-0, I was like, God, they really need some humor right now. So great job, Billy. I'm so proud of you.
O.J. Simpson was at the game.
That's random.
His son was playing against us.
Okay, there's context. That's what we were looking for. 2nd and 2. Did you talk to OJ?
We took a picture with him.
2nd and 2, handoff. Hankins again, why not ride?
Where's that picture?
It was back before digital photography, so there's there was a print. Now that I think about it, I think that my aunt had the picture on her fridge for a little bit, which is weird. But it was my 7th grade or 8th grade football team, and we were playing O.J. Simpson's son, and O.J. was at the game, and everybody was afraid.
Can we get it? Can we get that photograph?
I don't know. I mean, I can look into it. I don't. There must be a copy somewhere, but everyone was afraid of O.J. because of the speculation. And then we said, well, let's should we ask?
I don't know how you view that video, right? Because it's been how many years since you were on that campus, like to as a student. But what I see is sort of the overgrown kid, an adult now, walking onto that field and being able to enjoy That's the part of it that was cool to me to watch, is that you're going back to your school and they're making you a star of the broadcast, and you're doing it differently. You're not actually respecting how a broadcast needs to be done.
Quite respectful, I thought. At one point, they welcomed me home on the screen, which I thought was really cool, and I waved. And then I turned and I was like, if only they knew that I'd come to half of these games and just sit by myself because I don't have any friends.
But that's supporting the program.
I also had Alka-Seltzer in my back pocket because my tummy was rumbling.
Oh.
Were you nervous?
Oh, yeah. I was in over my head, and I knew it.
No.
Yeah. And I was trying to do prep beforehand, but my daughter's 6. She has a fever, so every time I'd go and I'd be looking up YouTube.
Well,
I was trying to
God
watch
bless football, and you got
That's a whole nother
15 hours.
Yeah, I got to step out at some point today, just FYI. Just for a little bit.
But so you enjoyed it, though. We make fun of everything around here, but it ended up, once you were done with, because I thought it was very cool as a sports experience for you to you got a night to yourself and you were down 21-0 in the first quarter. And of course, you noticed that because you're like, of course, this is what would happen to me. I wouldn't
yeah, but I felt worse for Taylor, if I'm going to be honest with you. And if you were listening to the game, you had to be very confused because we clued in the broadcast team as to what was going on with Taylor. So every time that a score or something would happen, we're like, oh, poor Taylor. with no reference to why we're feeling bad for someone named Taylor
That's good
whatsoever.
DraftKings content. The inside joke throughout the broadcast of poor Taylor. He just lost a giant bet because he's the idiot who comes in here and makes a giant bet on FIU.
The vibes were immaculate when we got there, Dan. The Goodyear blimp was there, and people were confused by that because it's been a while since the Goodyear blimp has been in that area, because normally, it's not on ESPN2. It's like on ESPN Plus or CBS Sports or whatever. So the Goodyear blimp made an appearance, and it led to some confusion at night once you couldn't see the blimp and all you could see was like the blinking red lights in the sky that the blimp has on it. So much so that Only and Dade had to kind of make a post explaining to people this is not a UFO.
That's
this
funny.
is what we call a blimp, and
That's
this goes
so
to large
funny.
sporting
How is
events.
that possible that Only
It's
and Dade...
Westchester. I mean, the Goodyear blimp has no business being over Westchester on a Wednesday night. But we have Wednesday Night Football now.
It's the big business of college football. It exists at FIU, too, the program that Mario Cristobal helped build.
The Only in Dade post said, and I don't know if this is true, but it said that like hundreds of people sent videos of the blimp to them asking what was floating over the sky.
Well, there was a
in Westchester.
Bigfoot yesterday that was going viral, right? Somebody just scampering next to a train that people were saying that now that's going to be the next step of the apocalypse. Blimps and Bigfoots are aliens. Do you think people called 911 last night
The
because
Bigfoot
there was a
just
blimp?
Billy walking along the sideline talking to the FIU players.
There has to be a 911 call somewhere of somebody calling that doesn't know what a blimp is, saying, "What is that thing?" How long has it been since the blimp was around here on a Wednesday night?
Man, it has to be a while. I would think maybe an occasional random game, but probably since like 2008 or 9 or something, because it's the last time they had maybe like a big game. I don't know.
The blimp had to have been at the Notre Dame Miami game in
Yeah,
2017, right, Mike?
Yeah, but that's a difference between
Different
Miami
part of
Gardens
town,
and they're used to the blimp in Miami Gardens. Westchester, not so much.
I was throwing you a bone there, reminding you of a good win over the team that I like.
Appreciate it. Puck drops tonight.
Also, last thing about the blimp, the like age demographic of that area is probably like 80s. So, you could have people that are also
No, that's why
kinda,
I'm asking for the 911
maybe
call.
a little confused.
No,
Or
viejos.
people that have actually traveled on blimps when it was a mode of transportation.
Billy, I am certain. I don't know. I want
had
to.
tickets on the Hindenburg.
I am certain. That
I don't think there's anyone to tell the tale.
Well, they missed it. Luckily, yeah.
All right.
I bet you that
And
with
they're
the
speaking in English.
Freedom of Information Act, that we can absolutely get 911 calls that were made last night by Spanish-speaking elderly people.
We'll put Taylor on it.
Surprised by the blimp.
Taylor, go find 80-year-old Cuban women confused
right.
at the Goodyear blimp
Yes.
on 911
Yes,
calls.
Taylor,
Please
go
do
ahead.
that before the end of the hour.
Use
please.
the Meadowlark. Yes,
Happy
use the
North Carolina
Meadowlark
week.
budget that you blew in gambling on just a terrible, terrible bet.
Like he doesn't look busy. Go for it.
Yes, please. Roy, finally, we will get. Roy has been dying for 2 days. He can't get in. No, there's no room for his disrespected Panthers.
I've been keeping him off the schedule too.
Roy has gotten boxed out. Got to laugh at got to talk Dolphins. It's crazy football season. And, it was pretty recently that the Panthers had a great deal of excellence. And now everybody in hockey thinks that Roy Bellamy's Panthers are a one-year wonder, a fraud. It might not even make the playoffs, according to the experts. They don't believe that what they saw last year was real, Roy. And I imagine this has made you a bit insane.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. You got Aaron Ekblad and Brandon Montour not being able to play until December, so they lost out on a couple of defensemen there. But, I mean, come on. I mean, they lost some pieces. Yes, they lost Radko Gudas. Okay, fine. But they replaced them. I'm really excited to watch Mackie Samoskevich get some big-time minutes.
You could have just gone Mackey. A lot of people are super excited about Mackey being added to this team.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen much of the preseason hockey. I do find it funny that the injuries that Roy highlighted were injuries that players sustained throughout the playoff run and played through.
Yeah.
Like they were such, and I don't know if you
No,
saw
it's
any of the
crazy.
offseason photos.
Well, Mike, find that.
There were a
No.
couple of weddings of Panthers and former Panthers that happened over the offseason, And it was laugh out loud funny to see Panthers in attendance in their tuxes with their necks in braces and in crutches and in walking boots. Deep postseason runs really beat teams up. And that's what's happening right now to the Florida Panthers. Their best two defensemen in terms of reputation, not in terms of like man marking. Forsling's a really good defenseman, but they're out for an extended period of time. And Spit and Chicklets did their episode. Nobody had the Panthers making the playoffs.
I mean, Paul Bissonnette should, know better than that after what happened last year with Boston.
Bucci is the only person that seems to have learned.
Yes.
Bucci, after getting it wrong left and right, has learned. But I think this team has proven last year that they can navigate a slow start because it took a long time to get used to the new style of Paul Maurice. You would imagine that there would be less hiccups there, but it all comes down, as it always will with this team, the goaltending. Is Bob going to be closer to what he was in that playoff run, or is he going to be the person that makes you want to tear your hair out?
Also, Spencer Knight's going to start the season in the AHL as he was on player assistance for his OCD last season. He's going to get some season down in the minors. So we got Anthony Stolarz as the backup.
Roy, I want to not skip past something that happened to you there. It was a moment of vulnerability, and I recognize it because it happened to me trying to say Antetokounmpo's name at the beginning and Tagovailoa's name at the beginning. I got a little scared of it, and I would get close to it, and the speed bump would scare me. I saw there, you're normally very confident talking about the Panthers. This is your wheelhouse, but that name tripped you up. It scared you. I recognize that fear.
Yeah, Semiskovich.
I know, but you got scared of it. And Mike is saying you can cheat. You can just
call him Mackey. Yeah. Dan's not going to call you out on it.
I'm saying you're okay there. You're safe and free to just call him Mackey because you want to be respectful. You want to be respectful, but the name is tough.
Yes, it is, but I really do want to be a professional about this.
But he will either force you to pronounce his name correctly or he will not, by however good he is or isn't. Correct?
That's correct.
We'll just call them Bob.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Which is always something that hockey affords us, to just shorten the name and add a Y.
Yeah. All right, but help me.
Boy, Bobby!
Or an ER.
Help me with some of this, though, because your team did go to you ran into a Vegas team that was playing overwhelmingly well, but over 3 series of hockey, it can be made the argument, and the Panthers made another final run 25 years ago, but going through Lindros, Lemieux and what they did back then, this was the best playoff run a team has ever had in South Florida hockey that you're coming off of, and then you run into Vegas, which was just a little bit hotter, and their goaltender is better.
Better. I mean, the salary cap numbers, I went well over the salary cap, and the depth did Florida in, but I think we can all agree that the greatest achievement the Eastern Conference champions achieved last year was finally giving Dan something else to talk about other than 1996.
By one game.
Woo! Thank God.
Okay, and yes, but those are the 2 runs this franchise has had.
And I'm super hopeful that what 1996 did for me did to a whole slew and a new generation. I know fans were made because there's nothing like it. I know Jess is a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan. There is nothing like deep postseason hockey runs. It's just got something special to it.
My point is the reason that you're feeling disrespected, the 2 of you, is because the season opened last night. You guys are all fired up because you had one of the best teams last year. And I'm guessing, you correct me if I have my information wrong, that Tampa, Florida is such a weird fit for hockey. It's just strange all around. But Tampa created a giant hockey market. And the first time they got there wasn't the suspicion, well, they'll not keep doing that. This is really hard. You can't just keep getting back every year. And the Panthers throughout that time weren't getting any fan base because they couldn't get any traction on any playoff hockey. So you're just coming off a playoff season in the most exciting sport, and Tony's walking over to his television. He's like, what's that? What? Let me watch. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's violent, and look how much the players care. They're going to weddings after the season, and they're all physically broken. People don't believe the Panthers are getting back there this year. They believe an 8 seed was a fluke.
I do have a bone to pick with the schedulers here. This is back-to-back years where they're starting 3 games on the road here. We're talking about a team that won the President's Trophy and then won the conference title. Why are we starting on the road? Throw us a bone here. Let's give it a home game to start the season.
It's going to be a tough start to the season. I think you got to manage expectations and just navigate the injuries because It's at least going to be better than last year was, which was they didn't really start finding form until after the All-Star break. But I think the most encouraging thing is not only do you have recent success to build on, recent corners that were turned, but you have this guy that wants to be a superstar, wants all the interviews, is charismatic, plays a style of hockey that annoys other fan bases, but is someone that you can rally around, that gave you moment after moment. You have a superstar that you can market. Even in 1996, they had Beezer, maybe, but they weren't a marketable bunch. They were just this ragtag journeyman expansion franchise. They have an absolute superstar in Matthew Tkachuk, which that'll draw people. That'll move units. Made a
superstar by this run, right? Like hockey knew who he was, but this market and to have some what Tyreek Hill now has in this market, where you're getting some legitimate name. Tkachuk is traded here a bit unpopularly after they blew up the best offensive team anyone's ever seen. Not just Panthers.
Traded the best player arguably in franchise history to get him, and what he did in 1 year was
and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, if there is ever a statue outside of that sinking arena, and hopefully they're not there by the time Matthew Tkachuk's career ends, but if it is, there better be a statue of Matthew Tkachuk sliding across the ice after the game winner that sweeps the Carolina Hurricanes. I think a lot of the doubt that is also projected onto the Florida Panthers this season, Dan, is the Eastern Conference is really good. The Atlantic is really good. It's tough. Mm-hmm. It was really tough for the Panthers to make it that far. And you saw that if you get – it's not like previous years now, especially with the way that they're doing the playoff formatting. We saw with Florida getting an upset over a historic Boston Bruins team. If you make the playoffs – there isn't a bad team that makes the playoffs anymore. It's a rock fight.
If you look at that division, you look at the Atlantic, Ottawa's better. Buffalo is better. So now you got two added teams to go along with Boston, Toronto, and Tampa to fight with. And it could be that one of the Florida teams might not make the playoffs this season.
Yeah, Tampa probably might be at the end of their run finally because Carolina has
Don't do it.
Carolina's finally done the things that their fan base has asked for, improve this nucleus because they were so close. Brendan Moore's pissed off. He is tucking that polo into his shorts extra tight.
Do I have this wrong, though, when I remember the history of this? Tampa became a giant hockey market off of the success that people didn't think was going to be able to be duplicated, at least in part, because everyone thinks when Vegas or Tampa get there, they're not going to stay there. It's hard to get that deep into the season. They don't get to just stay there. Aren't the Panthers in the same position from that regard? They just showed you over the last 2 seasons vividly. Look at what playoff hockey looks like. When you have the best offensive team and you're not built right, you lose immediately with expectations and you stop playing offensive hockey. They flip the team over. No, it's going to be tougher and Tkachuk is going to do 1,000 tough things. This is where you build a fan base right here with winning again as people think you're not going to. But do I have it wrong on the history that they're going to be doubted? Because why would a Florida hockey team be any good for a sustained period?
Why would this 8 seed actually be the real deal? And I think what they're doing, honestly, is looking at the rest of the landscape inside the division. But this is a franchise that we're doing this off the top of our head, Roy, but I don't think they've ever made the playoffs 3 consecutive seasons. You're talking about Tampa that had sustained success, that generationally handed down. There were people that saw Martin St. Louis lift the cup, and they had their kids become fans. Florida's never had the opportunity to have that because when they've had these isolated little runs, but then they go back into the barren wasteland of mediocrity.
Tampa it's an amazing market as a test case just for professional sports. They've been great at baseball, smarter than anybody, and they can't make baseball work there. And they have built a huge and legitimate hockey town in that part of Florida.
A hockey town that could recognize Gustav Forsling at Mons Venus. Like that's a type of hockey town. If you ever go to Tampa, and this is a city that recently won a Super Bowl, every home in that cool little city with all these old homes with big front porches, they have a Tampa Bay Lightning banner. They are crazy. It's like north of the border over there.
It is nuts.
Florida, South Florida especially, is never going to be that, but they also have never had the opportunity to be that. They barely get out of the first round. This is the first time that they've done that consecutively in 2 seasons. So I really hope, for the sake of the sport down here, which they had promising season tickets, or season tickets sold out.
Lower Bowl. Yeah.
Lower Bowl is sold out for season tickets. So I think the ratings for Florida Panthers games were encouraging. They're given a lot more marquee games this upcoming season, so hopefully there's sustained success there. Now, can we talk a little bit about not kneeling, and previewing the biggest college football game of the season for the Miami Hurricanes against North Carolina?
Well, why would we not preview all of college football with Lucy and Jessica? Because they have a hot new unnamed podcast. It's still unnamed. No one's given you
I thought we decided on Foot Girls. No, we did not.
We did not decide on that.
Okay.
I thought it was Foot Girls.
Well, can we come up with a name? I think Meadowlark should have a name. It doesn't have to be right now. I'm not putting that pressure on you now.
You have 5 minutes.
But it's just an unnamed. They've had many weeks, not 5 minutes.
I've just been under the impression it's been Foot Girls this whole time. I don't know
We did get a great suggestion that I think we should make into a digital video series. That was from someone on Twitter. Sorry, I don't know your name. And it was Heisman House Estate Sale. And that's something that I think Lucy and I should do in the off season. Go to estate sales and find college football memorabilia.
That's fine. You can parlay it into.
Seems very specific.
It's also wordy and doesn't really
rolls right off the tongue. I like it
on algorithms.
What is the name of what we still don't know what the name?
Better than Foot Girls, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, not on the algorithm.
Not in terms of growth on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, but she's right. Foot Girls is cheap.
I mean,
in the Heisman House,
make it girls' feet, whatever you want.
Yeah,
don't do that. In the Heisman House estate sale, are you buying? You're going to estate sales looking for college memorabilia, or you're going to estate sales of former Heisman winners who are down on their luck?
We're going to rob the Nissan Heisman House. Wow. That's what we're going to do. They're not dead yet.
You cannot be in front of people on television manipulating the schedule on who gets to talk to you what day and then manipulating the algorithm into Foot Girls in that same hour without a commercial
break. These are false
break.
accusations. I have nothing to do with the talent schedule.
How dare you attack a freedom fighter, Dan?
I don't believe you.
I have nothing to do with it.
I don't believe you.
I have nothing to do with it.
Say it again.
So Mike's not a freedom fighter. Did you see him go after Aaron Rodgers? Mike's not a freedom fighter now. He's not fighting for our freedom.
He's actively censoring people. I would say he's probably not a freedom
No, not
fighter.
here. He's not.
I'm not censoring anybody.
You silenced us, Mike.
I didn't silence anyone.
What do you want to tell us about North Carolina? I'm scared of them. I'm scared of their offense. I think they're just as big as Miami and physically strong as Miami.
The book on North Carolina, anytime that they've won these games, is Miami's only been staying in these games because they're soft. But we had Marty Smith on, and he said that this is a really physical team. I've listened to a lot of Tar Heels podcasts, and I've talked to Taylor, and while they've made strides there, this will be an interesting matchup. Now, as much praise as we've heaped on Miami's defensive line, they're not actually getting sacks. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. They're good against the run, but they're not getting home.
He praised. You are saying that all of these guys, that some scouts, you'd heard some scouts say this is the best D-line in the country.
Yeah.
You've been saying that a couple of times over the last few
Leonard
years.
Taylor is going to be a first-round draft pick. Reuben Bain, the true freshman, is showing you why I think he's going to one day be honored in the Ring of Honor. But Meadowlark has been out for a couple of weeks, and their sack production has been missing him. We don't know his injury timetable. They haven't gotten home. They haven't caused big turnover plays by getting to the quarterback. So they're going to have to sack for my money, is the second best quarterback in the nation in Drake May. If you haven't watched him, shame on you, because he's a brilliant, super athletic, prototype body, and he's got his best receiver back now in Tez Walker. This is going to be a really difficult game, and the conditions for Saturday say it's going to be slippery. That might play into Miami's hands, but we saw what they did with a slippery football at the end of the game against Georgia Tech. So who knows?
How does the rain affect whether you take a knee?
It shouldn't. It should affect, actually, hey, we probably shouldn't run here. Slippery pill.
Lucy, you are nodding vigorously about all of this, and I don't know if you had the same idea that I had, but I thought another podcast that should be sprung from this well of Mike Ryan cares too deeply about this team is a podcast named I've been listening to a lot of Tar Heel podcasts and to Taylor.
That's a little long for a name.
Yeah, well, I think it should be the name, though, because he threw in Taylor and said, well, I've
boys.
talked to Taylor, so clearly I know what's going on with the North Carolina program.
Taylor has actually been one of the nicer people to me this week. But
he just did a you down as he walked past the window.
FYI.
But he doesn't think.
Afraid.
But he doesn't think that I'm not privy to the conversations that he's having as I turn corners.
No,
because I hear him with Jeremy.
No,
you got to get this one. You got to get this one this week, and they think they're being coy about it. I hear every single one of his conversations, and I know that he does that stuff out of the corner of my eye. But to my face, he's been nice. We're both going to be in Chapel Hill.
Taylor, come over here for a second and just get at Billy's microphone real quick, and I want you to tell me honestly,
very quickly. I will censor your time.
Your honest reaction to seeing the University of Miami lose that way, and what you immediately thought. You, the nice guy here, what you thought, what you felt about specifically just Mike Ryan.
Yeah, we have a college football group chat, me, Jess, and Lucy, and it was blowing up, and everybody was so excited.
You guys have censored me from the group chat? I'm not talent scheduled on the group chat? Assholes!